And welcome back to match 12 of day 1 of the Alliance Tournament Finals. You are listening to Verona and Angel Hun, and we have Dystopia Alliance versus Get Off My Lawn. Dystopia Alliance listed in red on the left-hand side of your screen, fielding a Loki and Eos, 3 Purifiers, 2 Hounds, a Guardian, and pair of Rooks.
And for Get Off My Lawn, we have 2 Balgorns, 1 Vindicator, 1 Guardian, 1 Coercer, 2 Ishkers, and 3 carries. So it looks like a very heavy dampening team versus a fairly heavy ECM team from Dystopia Alliance, completely breaking form with what they've brought previously. This is a completely new setup for T-Rex's boys. Let's see how they do.
I was kind of hoping they would field one of these blaster setups again. That was immensely entertaining in the qualifiers.
Oh, that really was fantastic.
But unfortunately, it looks as if they've gone for something a little bit more conventional. Nice group of bombers supported by a Guardian and heavy ECM with an Eos there, probably running the information warfare gang links to make those Rooks that little bit more effective.
Yeah, they're really going to need it against the incredible power of those pair of Balgorns. The Vindicator probably blaster fit, and both teams starting off relatively far from each other. We're looking at about 60 kilometers difference between them. That Vindicator needs to close range very, very quickly. I don't think that will happen before a large majority of his team is eligible to die.
Yep, I think that as soon as that Vindy goes steaming towards the Dystopia team, he's going to get a face full of bombs, in all honesty. It's not looking good. They've brought him in at range. Unless he's a rail Vindy, when we get a close-up of him, maybe we can see that. We've seen rail Vindys used in the tournament so far, 350mm rails in fact.
Yes, but not to great effect.
Not to great effect, but it looks as if he is rail-fitted. Those look like dual 350 rails.
Awesome.
So yeah, rail Vindicators all around. A lot of DPS actually, despite the fact that they're not a commonly used gun on the Vindicator or the Megathron platform.
Do you think the Balgorns are going to have beams on them to perhaps compensate that? Those could well be a rack of beams.
Just trying to take a look actually at that Balgorn. It does indeed look like they are either beam or tack fitted. We'll see as soon as they start firing, I should imagine.
We saw that once before and laughed pretty heartily about it because it really is just an awful travesty to see these kinds of fits on such beautiful hulls.
Yeah, the Balgorn, of course, one of my favourite hulls in the entire game behind the Rattlesnake, in all honesty. Just the most horrible ship to counter in the world when you face against it 1v1.
And being corrected, those are blasters. Thank you, Varone, for making us look stupid.
Oh, they are blasters.
Will you show me your Rattlesnake later?
Fair enough.
I
shall show you my Rattlesnake later, and it will be wonderful.
Tremendously excited.
But yeah, those just taking a quick peek at that Vindicator. Yeah, well, they look like potentially 350s, but well, my eyesight, I guess, isn't as good as it used to be. I am, after all, an Alliance Tournament veteran and getting rather old.
You are your age, but you're aging quite nicely, I believe.
Yes,
and the match is underway. Not seeing any bombs right off the start from Dystopia. Perhaps a little bit surprising.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything at all in terms of bombs from Dystopia. It's interesting to note, actually, that if they do hold them back, Get Off My Lawn are just going to spread their team out really wide. Bombs, of course, only have a 20-kilometer radius, blast radius, and they're basically a one-shot deal. You either get it right the first time, or you don't get it right the second time, because you generally don't have the cargo space or the ability to field anything else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can fit 2 bombs in those launchers, but the timing required for them, really the only time that ships should be clustered in this match is either towards the very beginning or at the very end. We're seeing a lot more drones come out for the Get Off My Lawn team. It seems that Dystopia is primarying the first Balgorn on the top of your screen, Arrow Eclipse, and he's taking quite a hefty amount of damage. No damage incoming at all into the Dystopia team. A pretty impressive amount of E-War coming out of that.
Yep, and it looks as if these Balgorns are actually both pulse fitted. Looks like Mega Pulse 2. They are firing Scorch long range. Oh, and a lot of smart bombs.
Looks like the bombs just went off. Were those bombs or were those smart bombs?
Those were smart bombs, I do believe. They're just clearing out drones from the Dystopia team by the look of it.
I could have sworn those were bombs that went off. Maybe a really intelligent use of bombs, not necessarily for that initial huge quote-unquote alpha damage, but really to clear out the bombs once Get Off My Lawn was not necessarily concerned with them.
Yeah, interesting. Wow. It's bit strange, but there we go. Yeah, we can see.
It looks like Dystopia, I believe one of their Hound pilots decided that he didn't want to participate anymore and shot his bomb in the wrong direction. Perhaps going after CCP Claw. You really shouldn't give him an excuse, guys. I know you guys are pretty confident, but really?
Yeah, he's not a pleasant man. He's Minmatar, and he gets very, very angry when people shoot things at him. So you should probably not shoot towards CCP Claw, or he will really, really hurt you really badly. I can see there one of the carriers for Get Off My Lawn. Just about in structure, a lot of dampen power going to vanish when they get rid of that thing. Have we actually lost a Balcon, or is
they
that
did
one
lose
of
a Balcon.
We did lose a Balcon off the field.
They got overwhelmed by that bomb volley that went off, and Get Off My Lawn is suffering pretty heavily after that bomb volley. The damage got spread surprisingly well across their team. Get Off My Lawn not actually spreading out as we had predicted. Kind of an unusual idea. They waited, they put drones out, and then got bombed. So really getting the worst, perhaps Dystopia getting the best of both worlds in this case.
Well, it does just show you that although the Tyrax does, of course, Tyrax being with Dystopia, of course, Tyrax Thork, he does get a little bit of stick on the forums now and again. He has done in the past for fielding absolutely ridiculous setups, but this time around, he's gotten together a really, really solid team. He's gotten together a really good group of guys. That second Balcon now for Get Off My Lawn, into structure and down. Wow.
This is an interesting take on the what we're seeing a lot this tournament. The 5 bombers, logistic ships, and Matari battlecruisers is what we've been seeing quite often in this tournament. This time, they've opted to really rely on the DPS of the bombers to eliminate Dystopia has to eliminate the opposing team, and really sort of focus on those rooks to keep them alive.
Yeah.
It's an interesting strategy, perhaps losing out a bit on the DPS, but still being very, very impressive.
I've got to say, this Guardian pilot from Dystopia Alliance is doing an absolutely awesome job keeping these bombers alive, and those 5 bombers are absolutely just tearing up the field. That Vindicator was just melting under the force of those 5 stealth bombers.
It's really a shame. I'd love to know if he's running an 8-gun setup. I would imagine not. I would hope he has something to support his fellow Guardian pilot. But in either case, it is irrelevant. He is very, very close to dying, with Dystopia taking, at this point, nary a loss.
Not a single loss for Dystopia. Very convincing performance so far. We can see that, yeah, down and out that Vindicator. That's all of the DPS basically for Get Off My Lawn off the field. Wow.
Another fantastic showing from Dystopia Alliance, showing that they can think out of the box and really alter what's inside the box as well and do it to great effect. Great job to Dystopia. Really showing up a team that actually had the first perfect match of the tournament. Get Off My Lawn.
It's interesting to see, actually, rather than using all-out damps, all the purifiers, at least on the Dystopia team, are sat actually individually target pinning the targets that they're going for. So it gives them a little bit more versatility. They're able to split their DPS if they need to, and they're able to go after more than one target, rather than being called a primary and a secondary, if they, of course, need to during the match. It's a nice little touch. It's something we haven't really seen before. Generally, it's something larger, like a Hugin or a Rapier, that we see doing the target pin. We've even seen command ships do it. But as of now, yeah, it looks as if Get Off My Lawn are pretty much out.
How do you think that Loki's fit? It could actually be fit in the Hugin Rapier type setup, or it could be a command type setup. Haven't gotten a good shot of it yet. That could very well be the Hugin type setup with the webs. So they actually have their E-Warfare spread out almost throughout the entire team. You have those pair of rooks, at least 3 out of the 5 bombers with target painters, plus webs. That's 7 out of 10 ships of their team have very impressive amount of... and we have seen that Size Dothix, God, a horrendous name, has initiated self-destruct.
Yep, I think that's to try and prevent Dystopia from looting the field, as their stealth bombers are now scooting around and trying to pick up as much of what's left of Get Off My Lawn as possible. Looking at that Loki, it does look as if he's potentially fitted the same way that a Rapier or a Hugin would be. I'm not too hot on Minmatar subsystems because I don't actually fly the Loki myself, but he's AC fitted. He's doing a fair speed. And yeah, it's an interesting news. But I really like the way they've used these stealth bombers in this match. I mean, they've kept them all at range. They've kept them all individually target painting their own targets, probably with a couple of damps there as well, just to even things out a little bit. And I think it's really played out well for Dystopia.
And they really got a fantastic amount of luck. They completely negated the repping and damage drones while weakening the entire Get Off My Lawn team in a single stroke.
Yeah, but
even though they completely missed with
it was just
bomb.
Pure patience and experience that they held their bombs back, and they actually put them to good effect. As soon as Get Off My Lawn decided they were going to drop their drones, they were going to start applying the DPS, and they didn't spread out. It was a gamble because Get Off My Lawn could have just spread out from the start, and it would have really negated the damage effect of all of those bombs, but they just bunched together. They charged straight towards Dystopia and just give the match to them on a silver platter, basically. And that's it. Wow, Get Off My Lawn is out, and we can go back to CCP Soundwave in the studio.